I push through the heavy oak doors of Riverside Hearth, 15 minutes early for our annual family meeting. The familiar scent of rosemary and hickory smoke normally settles my nerves, but today something feels off. My heels click against the polished floor as I make my way toward the private dining room. My parents insisted on this meeting during our Monday closure when no staff would be present. Just routine business planning, Dad had said, his voice unusually formal over the phone. The private dining room door stands slightly ajar. I pause when I hear my brother Ryan's voice inside, mid-sentence about necessary restructuring. A chill runs through me despite the kitchen's lingering warmth. I step into the room and freeze. Mom and Dad sit stiffly at the head of the mahogany table we use for special occasions, their faces a careful blank. Ryan stands beside a projector screen displaying a PowerPoint titled Riverside Hearth, the Future. But what stops my heart is the cardboard box on the sideboard, filled with items from my office, my James Beard finalist certificate poking out from the top. Olivia, right on time. Dad's voice holds none of the warmth it did when I was a little girl standing on a step stool beside him at the grill. Have a seat. I remain standing. What's going on? Dad straightens his tie, the one I gave him last Christmas. We've made some decisions about the direction of the restaurant. Decisions? I look between them. Mom won't meet my eyes. Ryan clicks to the next slide, a portrait of himself superimposed over our restaurant logo. After extensive consideration, we're implementing a strategic pivot. He adjusts his designer glasses with a practiced gesture. I'll be taking over as CEO, effective immediately. The room seems to tilt sideways. What? Dad clears his throat. Ryan will be assuming leadership of Riverside Hearth. His MBA gives him the tools to take us where we need to go. His MBA? I repeat, the words tasting bitter. I've run this restaurant for 11 years. And you've done a fine job in the kitchen, Dad says, his tone patronizing. That's where you belong now. Back to your roots, doing what you do best. The memory of my first day as executive chef flashes through my mind, Dad reluctantly handing over the reins when the restaurant was hemorrhaging money after the recession. The 60-hour weeks I spent transforming our dated steakhouse into a farm-to-table destination. The mortgage I helped them refinance when they nearly lost everything. I graduated from the Culinary Institute of America and earned a marketing degree, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. I've spent over a decade building this place into what it is now. Anyone could have done that with our family name behind them, Dad dismisses with a wave. Ryan jumps in, his voice slick with rehearsed confidence. The market demands scalability. My 5-year growth strategy includes opening 3 additional locations by 2030 and standardizing operations for maximum efficiency. Standardizing? The word hits like a slap. Our relationships with local farmers are the backbone of what makes us special. Setter. Those relationships are inefficient, Ryan says, clicking to a slide showing a generic food supplier logo. We can cut costs by 28% with bulk purchasing. I turn to Mom, who has yet to speak. You agree with this? She finally looks at me, her fingers nervously twisting her wedding band. We just think it's best for the family, dear. Best for the family. The same phrase she used when they gave Ryan my childhood bedroom because boys need more space. When they paid for his college apartment while I worked 2 jobs to cover my rent. When they celebrated his C-average graduation more enthusiastically than my magna cum laude. Something hardens inside me. I stand taller, squaring my shoulders. After 11 years of rebuilding this restaurant from the brink of bankruptcy, this is how you repay my loyalty? Dad's face reddens. Now, Olivia, did you tell Ryan about the West Shore Grand contract? I ask. Ryan's smug expression falters. What contract? The $860,000 contract I finalized last week. West Shore Grand Hotels will feature my signature dishes in their restaurants across the region. My recipes, my techniques. I meet Dad's eyes directly. They contracted with me specifically, not Riverside Hearth. The color drains from Dad's face. Mom gasps softly. You didn't mention, Dad begins. You didn't ask. I cut him off. You were too busy planning my demotion. I walk to the box of my belongings, but only take 2 items, my leather-bound recipe journal and the chef's coat my grandmother gave me before she died. Everything else they can keep. At the door, I turn back one last time. Ryan doesn't know how to make a roux, let alone run a kitchen. Good luck explaining to our regulars why their favorite dishes suddenly taste different. I pause, letting the silence stretch. or why the chef who put this place on the map is suddenly gone. I walk out with my head high, not looking back at my parents' stunned faces or my brother's sudden uncertainty. The heavy door swings shut behind me with a satisfying thud. Only when I reach my car do I allow myself a single, shuddering breath. They've made their choice. Now I'll make mine. That night, my laptop screen bathes my apartment in blue light as I scroll through years of emails I never thought to question. I know Dad's password as I helped him change it months ago. 3 a.m, and sleep feels like a foreign country I once visited but can't remember how to reach. One message from Ryan to Dad from 4 months ago glows accusingly. Operation Chef Swap timeline confirmed. Oh, won't see it coming. My stomach knots. I open another folder, finding texts Malcolm forwarded to my work account messages to James Foster about adjusting supply terms without my knowledge. The same James who hand-delivered heirloom tomatoes every Thursday, who shared coffee with me while we discussed crop rotations. Streamlining costs essential moving forward. Dad had written, Ryan's vision requires flexibility. The betrayal tastes metallic, like blood from biting my cheek too hard. My finger hovers over a financial document I don't remember saving. The PDF loads slowly, revealing bank statements showing restaurant profits diverted to an account labeled RH Future Planning. An account I never knew existed, with withdrawals coinciding perfectly with Ryan's MBA program payments. They used my work to fund his education, I whisper to my empty kitchen. The room where I tested every signature dish that put Riverside Hearth on the map now feels hollow. A notification pings. An email from Mom sent accidentally to my work address instead of Dad's. Attached is a scanned, handwritten note in her careful script. Timeline for transitioning Olivia out gradually. Gradually. As though my life's work deserved the courtesy of a slow execution rather than yesterday's ambush. The walls of my apartment close in. I grab my keys and drive through empty streets to the restaurant. The back door key still works. They haven't changed the locks yet. A small victory that feels meaningless now. Inside, I head straight for the office I've occupied for 11 years. Ryan's designer briefcase sits on my desk like a conquering flag. I ignore it, retrieving a flash drive from the hidden compartment in my old desk drawer. Back home, the flash drive reveals the full picture. Years of communications, planning my removal. Dad orchestrating everything while telling me how proud he was of the restaurant's revival. Securing the family legacy through the son appears in multiple messages. As if a Y chromosome somehow qualified Ryan to run a kitchen he'd barely set foot in. Mom emerges as the enabler, her primary concern keeping peace rather than fairness. Notes about managing Olivia's expectations and acknowledging her contribution appropriately without actually preserving my position. Most revealing are documents showing Ryan's business failures, 2 startup attempts that burned through family money before he even finished his MBA. Failures conveniently absent from the polished PowerPoint presentation of his qualifications. My phone rings at 6:30. Bryn, my sous chef. Olivia. Her voice cracks. Everything's falling apart. Ryan cut the seasonal menu this morning. He what? Said it was inefficient. Brought in some corporate food service rep to talk about pre-portioned frozen alternatives. Her disgust matches the churning in my stomach. 2 servers already quit. I press my fingers against closed eyelids. I'm sorry, Bryn. For what? You didn't do this. She pauses. James Foster called. He told Ryan to go to hell when Ryan tried haggling his prices down by 30%. A small flame of satisfaction flickers amid the ashes. Customers keep asking where you are. Bryn continues. Ryan tells the staff to say you're pursuing other opportunities, like you abandoned a ship instead of being thrown overboard. After we hang up, I open my accounting software. My personal savings won't last 3 months. The revelation settles like concrete in my chest. All those 60-hour weeks, pouring everything into a restaurant that was never truly mine to keep. My phone buzzes with a text from Ellen Walsh, the food critic whose early review put Riverside Hearth on the regional map. What's happening? Just saw the new menu. This isn't you. Before I can respond, an unknown number calls. Olivia Barrett? This is Thomas Wheeler, Executive VP of Food Operations at West Shore Grand. His voice is clipped, professional. I understand there's been a leadership change at Riverside. I swallow hard. Yes, that's correct. I need to be clear, we contracted with you specifically. Your recipes, your techniques, not your brother's vision of standardized hotel food. The irony almost makes me laugh. The contract that should have cemented my position became the catalyst for losing it. I no longer represent Riverside Hearth, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. That's unfortunate. A pause. Our interest was in your culinary perspective, not your family name. After the call ends, I stand at my kitchen window watching dawn break over the city. I should feel vengeful satisfaction knowing Riverside will lose the contract, but instead, there's only hollow exhaustion. I spent years building something beautiful, only to watch it dismantled in days. I draft a polite email to Thomas Wheeler, explaining my departure and recommending Catherine Westfield, a talented chef from Portland with a similar commitment to local sourcing. It would be easy to leave West Shore Grand hanging, to let the fallout damage Riverside further, but spite creates nothing. In my refrigerator sits a container of the wild mushroom risotto that became Riverside's most requested dish. I made it 2 nights ago, before my world collapsed. It will spoil before I can eat it all. The thought strikes like lightning. Everything I created at Riverside will spoil now. The relationships with farmers, the staff culture built on mutual respect, the seasonal celebrations of local ingredients. I close my laptop, suddenly exhausted by the weight of what's been lost. The foundation I built my adult life upon has crumbled, leaving me standing in the rubble of someone else's making. But as I finally drift toward sleep, a different thought emerges. Foundations can be rebuilt, stronger than before, and this time, no one else will hold the blueprint. 2 days after the incident, I delete Malcolm's 3rd voicemail without listening to it. Whatever family duty lecture he's prepared can wait until never. My phone buzzes with a text from Bryn. Did you hear what Ryan's saying about you? A knot forms in my stomach. Tell me. He told the Portland Restaurant Association you were too emotionally unstable to handle business decisions. Said that's why they had to make the change. The coffee mug in my hand trembles. I set it down before I break something. Emotionally unstable, I mutter to my empty apartment. That's rich coming from a man who threw a tantrum when his soufflé collapsed. My phone rings, Judith. I consider letting it go to voicemail but answer on the 4th ring. Olivia, honey. Her voice has that saccharine quality it gets when she wants something. Are you busy? I thought I might stop by. 20 minutes later, a knock at my door. Judith stands in the hallway clutching her purse like it might run away. Her eyes are red-rimmed. You look terrible, I say, stepping aside to let her in. I haven't been sleeping. She perches on the edge of my couch, refusing water when I offer it. This whole situation, it's tearing the family apart. The situation you and Dad created. She winces. Ryan is drowning, Olivia. The suppliers won't work with him. The kitchen staff barely speak to him. That sounds like Ryan's problem. It's the family's problem. Her voice cracks. Just help your brother. Show him how to make your dishes. Guide him through this transition. I laugh, a sharp sound that makes her flinch. You want me to train my replacement? After you packed up my office while I was still executive chef? We're Barretts. Family comes first. Funny how that rule only applies when you need something from me. She reaches for my hand. I move it away. Your father is worried sick. He should have thought about that before he gave my life's work to Ryan. Judith's face crumples. Please, Olivia, just until Ryan finds his footing. I walk to the kitchen and pick up today's newspaper. Toss it on the coffee table between us. Business section, page 4. Plies. She turns to it slowly, like she already knows what she'll find. The headline reads, Barrett Family Restaurant under new management. The next generation takes Riverside Hearth forward. Ryan's smug face stares up from the photo. The article quotes him, While my sister established some nice local connections, Riverside Hearth needs innovation to survive in today's market. We're elevating the concept to appeal to a broader audience. Judith looks up, her expression pained. He was misquoted. Was Dad misquoted too? I tap the paragraph where Malcolm praises Ryan's fresh business perspective and mentions how Riverside Hearth needed young blood to compete. She has no answer for that. I think you should go. I open the front door. Ryan wanted my job. Now he can do it. After she leaves, I grab my keys. Time to stop wallowing. The First Portland Credit Union is quiet today. Marie Donovan, the manager who approved my first business loan 11 years ago, greets me with genuine warmth. Olivia, I just read about the changes at Riverside. I was surprised, to say the least. We settle in her office, and I lay my cards on the table. I need to know where I stand financially, separate from my family. She types at her computer, then turns the screen to show me. Your personal credit is excellent. You've never missed a payment, even when the restaurant struggled early on. What about without the Barrett name behind me? Marie smiles. Your reputation in the industry speaks for itself. Several banks would compete for your business if you decided to open your own place. The weight on my chest lightens slightly. My phone chimes with a text from Andrew Taylor, my former line cook who left last year to work at the Kingsley downtown. Heard what happened. The owner here is selling the space on Hawthorne. Mentioned you might be interested. Rent below market for the right concept. I text back immediately to set up a meeting. On my way home, I stop by my storage unit. In the back corner sits a fireproof safe. Inside are my original recipe journals, dating back to culinary school. Every dish that made Riverside Hearth famous, from concept to final version, all my intellectual property. My phone buzzes with a text from Bryn. Sos. VIP dinner disaster happening right now. 3 hours later, I'm curled on my couch with a glass of wine when frantic knocking startles me. I open the door to find Malcolm standing there, still wearing his kitchen whites, a grease stain on his sleeve. Thank God you're home. His face is flushed, eyes wild. You have to help us. Hello to you too, Dad. The Carmichael anniversary dinner was tonight. 12 courses for 20 people. Ryan tried to recreate your autumn menu. And? Malcolm runs a hand through his thinning hair. A complete disaster. The risotto was gluey, the duck was tough, and the signature chocolate dessert. He stops, seemingly unable to continue. Collapsed? I offer, sipping my wine. Soupy. He looks physically ill. The Carmichaels walked out before the 9th course. Everyone followed. The dining room emptied in 10 minutes. For years, the Carmichaels have held their anniversary dinner at Riverside Hearth, bringing 20 of Portland's wealthiest residents with them. The party typically generates enough revenue to cover a slow month. Just tell us how to fix this, Malcolm pleads. The recipes, the techniques, whatever Ryan needs. Did Ryan ask you to come here? Malcolm looks away. He doesn't know I'm here. Thought so. I finish my wine. The recipes aren't the problem, Dad. They're just instructions. The problem is you gave my restaurant to someone who doesn't understand food. It's the family's restaurant. No, it was a failing steakhouse until I rebuilt it. My phone pings repeatedly. 3 separate texts arrive in quick succession. From Bryn, I quit today. Ryan tried to blame the kitchen staff for his mistakes. Several of us walked out. From James at Willamette Valley Farms, sorry to hear about the changes at Riverside. My produce is available exclusively for your next venture whenever you're ready. From Ellen Walsh, food critic, a group of your regulars started a Facebook group called Where's Chef Olivia? Over 200 members already. People miss your food. I show Malcolm the messages. His face pales further. This is why I need you to come back, he says, to fix what Ryan broke. And then what? Go back to just being the chef while he takes credit for my work? You'd have complete kitchen autonomy, Malcolm offers quickly. Ryan would handle the business side only. Autonomy? I laugh. You mean I'd get permission to cook in my own kitchen? It's still your kitchen, Olivia. No. It stopped being mine the moment you packed up my office. Malcolm sits heavily on my couch, suddenly looking every bit of his 65 years. What do you want? Name your terms. Finally, years of pent-up hurt push their way to the surface. You never saw my value, Dad. 11 years I poured everything into that restaurant. I refinanced the mortgage when you nearly lost everything in 2009. I worked 80-hour weeks to build our reputation. I brought in local farmers when nobody was doing farm-to-table in Portland. My voice stays steady though my hands shake. And after all that, you still thought Ryan deserved to run things because he has an MBA and the right chromosomes. That's not fair, Malcolm protests weakly. No, it wasn't fair. And I'm worth more than being Ryan's kitchen help. Malcolm stands, defeat evident in the slump of his shoulders. So you won't help us? I'm done helping people who don't value me. After he leaves, I pull out my laptop and open an email from Lyle McKinney, the restaurateur behind 3 of Portland's most successful establishments. We've been meeting secretly for the past week. Space on Pearl Street looks promising. Private investors excited about concept. Olivia's Hearth has real potential. Meeting with West Shore Grand executives Thursday, they specifically asked about your availability after Ryan's presentation fell flat. I smile for what feels like the first time in days and begin typing my response. The best revenge isn't just success, it's success on your own terms. 10 days later, I signed the lease with a flourish, my signature bold against the crisp legal paper. The storefront gleams in morning light, a corner space in the Pearl District, with floor-to-ceiling windows and exposed brick walls that whisper possibility. "Congratulations, Miss Barron," the realtor says, handing me the keys. "The space is officially yours." The metal feels cool and substantial in my palm. My space. Not the Barron family restaurant. Mine alone. "The contractor can start Monday," I tell her, already picturing the modern farmhouse aesthetic taking shape. "We're aiming for a 90-day turnaround." My phone buzzes with a text from my attorney confirming our meeting to file business licenses solely in my name. Another appointment follows with the intellectual property lawyer who's registering my signature recipes. The recipes my family now claims as their own. Across town, Ryan slashes prices at Riverside Hearth. The new banners hang limply in the windows. Family favorites at family prices. The desperate move reeks of panic. A server who still texts me reports reservations down almost 60%. "They're bleeding money," Bryn says over coffee that afternoon. My former sous chef now runs my test kitchen, perfecting recipes for the new menu. Malcolm called every supplier, begging them to maintain their contracts. I stir my coffee slowly. "And?" James told him to pound sand. So did most of the others. Bryn's smile is sharp. Turns out relationships matter more than family names. My phone lights up with Judith's number. The 4th call today. I send it to voicemail, remembering how she cornered Eliza, our pastry chef, in the grocery store parking lot last week. "Your mother tried to get your bourbon peach cobbler recipe," Eliza had reported, indignant. "Said it was for the family archives. I told her those archives should have been filled before they kicked you out." The cease and desist letter from my family's attorney arrived yesterday, formal legal language demanding I cease all attempts to appropriate family recipes developed under the auspices of Riverside Hearth. I forwarded it to my lawyer without comment. Let them waste money on legal fees they can't afford. "Did you see the interview?" Bryn asks, sliding her tablet across the table. There's Ryan's face on the screen, wearing a practiced expression of wounded dignity. The headline reads, "Riverside Hearth heir speaks out. Sister abandons family tradition." "She took our family legacy and walked away," Ryan tells the reporter, his voice thick with manufactured emotion. "We offered her a place to focus on what she does best, cooking, while I handled the business end. But Olivia has always struggled with authority. I should feel anger, but a strange calm settles over me instead. My brother has just publicly admitted I'm the talent behind the restaurant's success. Within hours, the Portland Plate, the city's most influential food blog, publishes a different story. Inside the Barron family restaurant coup. The piece includes interviews with former staff and a detailed timeline of my 11 years building Riverside Hearth's reputation. My phone nearly explodes with notifications as customers defend me across review sites. Riverside Hearth without Chef Olivia isn't Riverside Hearth. Tried the new menu. Big mistake. Where's the chef who put this place on the map? The Barron family just lost my business after 11 years of loyalty. By evening, the story has spread through Portland's tight-knit culinary community. Chef Wilson from Hartley's texts. "Everyone knows Ryan couldn't cook his way out of a paper bag. This industry respects talent, not nepotism." The next morning, 3 former line cooks post side-by-side photos of Riverside Hearth's signature dishes before and after my departure. The contrast is stark. Vibrant, artfully plated food beside pale, sloppy imitations. James from Willamette Valley Produce makes it official with a press release. Willamette Valley Produce is proud to announce our exclusive partnership with Chef Olivia Barron's exciting new venture. 5 other suppliers follow suit by afternoon. Ellen Walsh, the respected food critic who awarded Riverside Hearth its first major review, publishes a column reminiscing about my transformative farm-to-table vision, with pointed anticipation for my triumphant return to Portland's culinary scene. The final blow comes 2 days later, when West Shore Grand Hotels releases their statement. West Shore Grand is thrilled to announce an exciting new culinary partnership. They don't name me explicitly, honoring our confidentiality agreement, but the industry insiders connect the dots immediately. I'm reviewing contractor proposals when my phone buzzes with a text from Ryan. "You're destroying this family. Dad's blood pressure is through the roof. Is this what you wanted?" Before I can respond, Judith calls. This time, I answer. "Olivia." Her voice breaks. "Your father isn't well. The stress is affecting his health. The bank called about our projections. Ryan had to close lunch service." She dissolves into tears. I stand at my apartment window, watching evening settle over the city. The lights of my new restaurant space glow in the distance. The sympathy I expected to feel doesn't materialize. "I'm sorry Dad isn't feeling well," I say finally. "But I didn't create this situation. We just wanted what was best for the family," she whispers. "No." The word comes out stronger than I expected. "You wanted what was best for Ryan. There's a difference." I end the call and turn toward my kitchen table, covered with floor plans and menu drafts. Tomorrow, the contractors begin demolition. In 3 months, Olivia's hearth will open its doors. The best revenge isn't destroying what they built. It's creating something they can never claim. 3 months later, the valets guide a gleaming Lexus to the curb outside my new restaurant. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I watch my parents emerge, Malcolm straightening his tie while Judith smooths her dress. They weren't invited to tonight's pre-opening gala. I turn to Lyle, who raises an eyebrow. "Your uninvited guests have arrived." "Right on schedule," I say, checking my watch. "Give me a moment." The restaurant buzzes with Portland's culinary elite, food critics, and investors. The space transformed from vacant storefront to sophisticated dining destination in just under 3 months. Exposed brick walls showcase black and white photographs of local farmers at work. The open kitchen gleams with top-of-the-line equipment I selected personally. Before I can intercept my parents, Ryan bursts through the door behind them, waving an envelope. His designer suit hangs loosely on his frame, and dark circles shadow his eyes. "Cease and desist," he announces, thrusting the envelope toward me. Several guests turn to stare. "Those are family recipes, intellectual property of Riverside Hearth." I take the envelope without opening it and smile. "Thank you for delivering this personally." "You're destroying everything," Ryan hisses. "Dad's blood pressure is through the roof." Malcolm steps forward. "Olivia, this has gone far enough. Your mother and I are willing to discuss more equitable arrangement." "More equitable than handing my life's work to Ryan?" I keep my voice level, aware of the watching crowd. Judith touches my arm. "Think about the family legacy, dear. Your grandfather started that restaurant." "And I saved it," I say, gently removing her hand. "When you were 3 months from bankruptcy." Henry Lancaster, president of the local business association, appears at my elbow. "Olivia, Malcolm, perhaps we could find some middle ground for community harmony?" I smile at him. "The time for middle ground was before they packed my things in a cardboard box, Henry." Malcolm's face reddens. "We built that restaurant. And now you can see what I've built." I gesture to the crowded room. "The ribbon cutting begins in 5 minutes. You're welcome to stay if you can behave civilly." I move toward the small stage we've set up near the bar, taking my position beside Lyle. The room quiets as he taps a spoon against his champagne flute. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Olivia's Hearth." Applause ripples through the crowd as the staff unveils large photographs along the back wall, a timeline showing my culinary journey from culinary school to award-winning chef. Each image connects to a signature dish, with detailed descriptions of their development over the years. "Many of you have followed Chef Barron's career," Lyle continues. "Tonight marks a new chapter." A server hands me a microphone. "Thank you all for coming. Olivia's Hearth represents not just my culinary vision, but a partnership with the farmers and producers who make exceptional food possible." I gesture to the far wall where photographs of weathered hands harvesting vegetables, aging cheese, and raising livestock tell the story of our supply chain. Each farmer's name appears in an elegant script beneath their portrait. I'm also proud to announce my partnership with Lyle McKinney, whose restaurants have defined Portland dining for 15 years. Lyle raises his glass. "And to share that West Shore Grand Hotels has confirmed a $510,000 contract to feature Chef Barron's creations in their properties nationwide." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. I watch my father's face drain of color. "Press packets are available with tonight's menu." I continued. You'll find a complete timeline of my culinary innovations, including notes from my instructors at the Culinary Institute of America about the techniques I developed there. I step from the stage as servers begin passing appetizer plates. My family remains frozen near the entrance, ignored by the celebrating crowd. Malcolm intercepts me as I make my way toward the kitchen. "You're destroying us," he says, voice trembling with fury. I look directly into his eyes. "I built my success once. I can do it again without you." Ryan hovers nearby, shoulders slumped. I reach into my chef's coat pocket and withdraw my battered recipe journal. "Study this," I say, offering it to him. "You might learn something." He takes it, confusion replacing anger. "Why would you?" "Because I don't need it anymore." I tap my temple. "Everything important is up here." Malcolm starts to protest, but I cut him off with a raised hand. "I think it's time for you to leave." I place a firm hand on Malcolm's elbow, guiding him toward the exit. Judith follows, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. I walk them to the door myself, conscious of the watching crowd, the power shift as tangible as the autumn chill that enters when I open the door. "Goodbye," I say simply, and close the door behind them. The next morning, I wake to my phone chiming with notifications. Ellen Walsh's glowing review sits at the top. Olivia's Hearth isn't just a new restaurant, it's a declaration of independence and a masterclass in culinary evolution. Below it, a press release from West Shore Grand formally announcing our exclusive partnership. 3 missed calls from Bryn, and her text reads, "Ryan applying at TGI Fridays. Riverside closing for rebranding. Call me." I'm scrolling through the flood of congratulatory messages when a voicemail notification appears. Judith's name. I press play and hear her voice, small and broken. "Olivia, your father had a mild heart attack last night. He's stable, but please call." The phone feels heavy in my hand as memories flash through my mind. Dad teaching me to make his signature steak sauce when I was 8. Mom bringing soup when I worked through a fever during restaurant week. Family dinners before Ryan went to business school. The box of my belongings and their cold eyes last month. My finger hovers over the call button as sunlight streams through my office window, illuminating the future I've built and the past I've left behind. I arrive at Olivia's Hearth 2 hours before our staff opens for dinner service. 6 months since I walked away from Riverside Hearth, and the morning light filtering through our windows still feels like a small miracle. The sign above our entrance, hand-carved maple with copper inlay, catches the sunlight. Sometimes I stand outside just to watch customers pause, admire it, then step inside. Today, I'm too busy reviewing final plans for our upscale grocery line launch next week. "Morning, chef." Bryn appears at my side, clipboard in hand, her former hesitancy replaced with the confidence of a head chef. Delivery schedule for today, and the contractor's estimates for the outdoor expansion. I scan the paperwork, lingering on the design for what we're calling Barrett Garden. Not for my parents, but for the name I carried into creating something truly mine. "Perfect timing," I tell her. "The bank approved our line of credit yesterday." Bryn grins. "The garden will be ready for summer service." After she leaves, I open my laptop to review applications for our female chef mentorship program. 22 women seeking what I never had: someone who sees their potential without conditions. I select 8 finalists, feeling that familiar warmth spread through my chest that has nothing to do with standing near ovens. My phone buzzes with a text from Lyle. "Morning check-in still on?" Our partnership evolved into something I never expected, a friendship built on mutual respect rather than obligation. We meet weekly at a small table in the empty restaurant, discussing everything from wine pairings to profit margins with equal enthusiasm. I close my eyes briefly, remembering Dr. Harmon's words from yesterday's therapy session. Success isn't just what you build, but the boundaries you maintain while building it. 6 months of weekly sessions has taught me to recognize the difference between genuine dedication and the desperate need for validation that drove me for years. I've taken 3 actual vacation days this month, a personal record. Sunday evening brings our now traditional family dinner, though family means something different now. 20 people gather around tables pushed together in our private dining room, staff, suppliers, friends who stood by me. I bring out my grandmother's braised short ribs with rosemary jus, the signature dish, Ryan immediately cut from Riverside's menu. The familiar aroma rises like a memory rewritten. Standing at the head of the table, I raise my glass. to finding your true family, whether by blood or by choice. Later, after everyone leaves, I finalize details for tomorrow's celebration, our 1-year anniversary of the day my core team joined me in this venture. Bryn's promotion certificate sits ready for framing. The menu honors everyone who stood by me, each dish named for someone who believed in me when I most needed it. The scholarship documents for culinary students from difficult backgrounds wait for my signature. My viral interview about family business challenges generated unexpected donations from people who'd faced similar betrayals. Tuesday morning, I'm arranging flowers when the door opens. My mother stands alone, looking smaller somehow. Ophelia. Her voice cracks. The restaurant closed yesterday. Your father. He couldn't admit his mistake until it was too late. I don't rush to offer forgiveness, but I pull out a chair. Would you like some tea? In the quiet dawn of Wednesday, I stand alone in my restaurant. Sunlight streams across polished surfaces, catching on the framed review my first as Olivia's hearth. I set a single place setting at my favorite table, my notebook open to a blank page. My reflection shimmers in the silver surface as I whisper, "The best revenge is creating something they can never take away."